How is everyone doing? And I hope you're having a very nice day. My name is Joseph and I'm a film fanatic. I know a lot of people don't do it or even like it, but personally, I have no issues revisiting stories I enjoy over and over again. You cannot guess how many times I have seen Shrek 2 or even read Frankenstein. I really love those stories like that. And I like to believe that it is this love for stories that is driving Hollywood to keep spewing remake after remake. Sadly, it's not. It is always usually money. This remake, adaptation, and sequel plague that we are currently facing is because everybody is looking for money. And if it was successful once, chances are it is going to be successful again. Whatever the case may be, remakes are clearly a significant part of movie culture. Some people see them as bad, commercial, disrespectful, lackluster, while some see them as good, innovative, refreshing, or nostalgic. Because I love to complicate things, I am going to discuss why they are both bad and good. Subscribe, please. And like if you haven't, because this is going to be a very interesting talk. Comment anything you want because I want you to be part of this conversation. If you don't know what a remake is, check your dictionary. But if you have coconut head, remakes are essentially carrying old movies or series, usually from a different era, and reimagining them for a younger or newer audience with a completely different psychographic, while carrying the exact same story elements and maintaining its core values. On paper, it actually sounds like an easy thing because it's basically just copy and paste. I mean, the template and structure is already there for you to use. Unfortunately, it isn't, because you can't just spit out the exact same thing with different actors. It has to be what we know, but completely different. And because it is something that everybody already knows, good luck trying to make everybody happy. I genuinely can't pinpoint a period in history when remakes became a staple because they've been around since the dawn of television and have served a number of purposes. One of those purposes is, like I mentioned earlier, it is a surefire cash cow. The 1988 Child's Play movie made $6.5 million on its opening week, while the 2019 one, which was actually made in my opinion, made over $14 million. Then there's the original Dune movie that has accrued over $31 million since its initial release in 1984. Then the Hollywood greed machine said, let's divide this movie into two, and Part 1 alone has made $400 million worldwide. You cannot blame anyone for seeing a gold mine and tapping it, especially when it's done decently. Plus, everybody's looking for money. Even ancient Greek theaters would always reenact the plays that attracted the most crowd whenever the cities were having financial problems. Another good reason for remakes is to restart a franchise. I can't really think of a good remake that was used to restart a franchise now, so help me out in the comments if you can, because the only thing that comes to mind is Terminator Genesis, which was supposed to restart the Terminator franchise, but since the movie flopped harder than Tinubu's first year as president, everybody acts like it didn't happen. And now there's a new Harry Potter series that HBO is threatening us with. It's a threat because it is HBO, and we all know how HBO likes to treat their protagonists. Nevertheless, in an ideal case, when a franchise wants to get rebooted, one of the easiest things to do is to look for a good established story from that franchise and try and remake it in a way that more people can easily get connected with it. Okay, you know how I mentioned earlier that I can't easily pinpoint when remakes became a staple? This is because a lot of classic stories have already been revised and re-edited several times even before television became a thing. And this is a very good thing because it has helped keep a lot of classics alive and relevant. I'm saying this for all the Momo people that used to act like art expires. Kudos to you if you've ever felt inspiration or seen the beauty of classics. If not for remakes, a lot of wonderful classic characters like Optimus Prime, James Bond, Cinderella, Carmen Sandiego, or even Sherlock Holmes would have been long forgotten by now, and newer generations would have been deprived of the richness of these characters and their stories. Do you realize how much awareness the Wicked movie has raised for all the Broadway shows and even the original movie?
Give me back my slippers. I'm the only one that knows how to use them.
Whenever these stories are revisited with a new perspective and a fresh set of eyes, there is avenue for new insightful takes on character analysis and story exploration, and I love analyzing movies. Obviously, I enjoy getting inside the heads of characters, putting myself inside their setting and situation, and enjoying the tone and mood the story is supposed to convey. And whenever people open my perspective to aspects of stories that I didn't even think to consider, watching a good remake will give you this feeling. Words cannot begin to express the beauty that is 2015 Cinderella. Not only do I feel it is Disney's best live action remake so far, look at the cast. But it is just genius the way the movie fixes glaring issues from the classic with just a line or a scene. Another good example, Little Women. I've read the original novel by Louisa May Alcott and seen both the 1994 and 2019 movies. And for the longest time, I villainized the character of Amy, and if you know this story, who wouldn't? But Florence Pugh's monologue in the 2019 one really opened my mind to a perspective I didn't think to consider before.
Well, I'm not a poet. I'm just a woman. And as a woman, there's no way for me to make my own money.
It might be the age I made these stories and not the remake itself, but still. Another thing I need to point out is how star-studded a lot of people feel remakes should be. Sometimes remakes tend to focus on star power instead of the story, which is supposed to be the main attraction. Look at 2013's Carrie, for example. I strongly believe Chloe Grace was not a good choice for Carrie. But at that point in her career, she was hot cake and a decent actress. But she was too pretty and charismatic to have played Carrie that was supposed to have been giving awkward and weird-looking girl vibes. This is Sissy Spacek in 1976. Compare. Paul looks like the girl you would avoid in secondary school. Honestly, if they wanted to go with her, they could have changed the genre and tone and it would have made the movie a whole lot better instead of still forcing it to still try and be horror. Speaking of which, remakes tend to do that a lot, changing genres, and in a lot of cases, it actually works very well. I'm going to use 3 action cartoons from Cartoon Network to discuss this: Teen Titans, Powerpuff Girls, and Ben 10. All 3 were remade in the 2020s and shifted from action to a more comedic side for a new audience. So I watched the new ones and still went back to watch the old ones to see if there's any sense in the change of direction. In my opinion, Ben 10 was a huge fucking flop. Not only did they lose the delicate story balance of the original, but rewatching it made me realize that a lot of the story developments that came up later on in the series were actually beautifully foreshadowed in the earlier seasons. It was okay for the Powerpuff Girls, very different but still entertaining. But you see that Teen Titans? Thank God. I am a huge fan of Teen Titans Go and it has easily become one of my favorite cartoons as of now. Rewatching the original after Teen Titans Go made me look at it as dull in comparison. Granted, there was more action, but the whole thing felt so shallow for a show trying its best to be deep. Cyborg said it best.
Like, compared to him, you're like a silly little joke man. Like me, except worse. Because you're trying to be serious. You're just failing at it.
And I will never forgive the original Teen Titans for making me hate this character. In Teen Titans Go, whether intentionally or not, they spend so much time investing in the characters, making them feel so much more fleshed out and real. Far real than these ones. I have said it before and I will say it again. I hate one-dimensional characters. People are not like that in real life, and I should be able to connect with at least one or more characters in a show on several levels. I don't even want them to be fighting crime anymore. They should just continue goofing off as they are goofing off. If not for all this goofing off, we would have never seen the power of Raven's legs, known that she likes to dance, enjoys pretty pregnancies, and is a girl's girl. Then there's Cyborg. We know his love for food already with this boy, but we've seen how childish he can be with Starfire. We've seen how much he loves old shoes, and how much he and Robin connect over tech. Basically, genre can impact the development of a story in several ways. Whenever a filmmaker understands the significance and essence of the original and their own strengths as a filmmaker, it is a very useful tool in making a good remake. Then there's the lazy option, which unfortunately is what I feel is going on with the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake. Basically, carry the story exactly as it is, recreate iconic scenes, bring back famous returning actors, and don't tamper with any score or aesthetic. You could do all this and the movie will still flop, because movie magic is a very real thing and next to impossible to recreate. It could be a commercial success and not lose money, but in the long run, it is going to damage the franchise, the studio, and a lot of careers. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre that came out in 2003 would have been a far better standalone movie or even a very good sequel if they had made the right changes. But as a remake, it doesn't come close to the original. You should watch it. I genuinely feel this is what kills the idea of remakes for a lot of people. You can't say let's just do the exact same thing and put lots more money. Remakes should always be met with far more enthusiasm and support than the original, and by people who have studied and respect the original and still understand and consider the current social climate. Some things are timeless, some things are not. Try and consider which is which before reintroducing old things to new audiences. If Nollywood had any logic, it would have gotten an Egg of Life remake by now. Do you know how fast that thing will make me rush to the cinema? Aside from the fact that it is the type of variety that we desperately need, I don't think a lot of people have ever considered how much that story impacted us. With remakes, you could easily reignite passion for a certain niche of movie lovers, as well as give younger audiences something to flex. Remakes aren't bad, it is solely dependent on delivery and use. Again, everybody's looking for money. There's nothing wrong with doing it for money, but it doesn't have to be bad. What is worth doing is worth doing well. Two of my favorite all-time movies, 2013's Evil Dead and 2014's Nosferatu, are actually remakes. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this, and I hope I've given you something to think about concerning remakes. Please let me know what are some of your favorite remakes if you are a fan, and what you think about it whenever you hear a remake is coming out. Please, if you enjoyed this video, like. If you didn't, still like, then comment why you rated it. Maya. Thank you guys so much for all the love you've shown this channel. I recently hit 100 subscribers. and it only just gives me more enthusiasm and ginger to continue what I'm doing. Please keep sharing the good word and you'll definitely see me soon.